First question is from Alanna Rizzo. Go ahead.
Hi, Dave. Good afternoon. Are you planning on keeping your rotation pretty much the same with Walker going in 1, Clayton going in game 2?
Yes, we are. Absolutely, Alanna.
How much can you appreciate the fact that things went pretty according to plan in games 1 and 2 of the wild card round to be able to line up your rotation that way and have a better sense of how you want to use your guys?
Yeah, and I think that we're very pleased. First, to get Walker out of that first one feeling good, to be able to make this start in game 1, and then also obviously the way Clayton threw in game 2, and then to get him back online as well. And so that certainly puts us in a great spot. And now you're talking about May, Gonsolin, Julio. You know, those guys we're planning on pitching 3. If there's a 4, if there's a 5, and, you know, there might be a situation where those guys are available in any of the preceding games as a side day to then make a start. So we have a lot of good options.
Now that you know that you're playing the Padres in this round, does that change anything as far as your roster is concerned, particularly with Floro?
Yeah, it does. So we're gonna make a decision soon, but I think it's going to be adding a pitcher, and Floro's a good name, and we'll probably take out a position player.
Okay. Do you think having played in Arlington earlier this year benefits you guys?
Certainly. You know, just the turf itself is kind of like Arizona. Knowing the ballpark, getting it off the bat, the reads off the bat, how the infield plays. As I understand it, I think the roof's going to be open, but when we were here, it was closed. So just kind of adjusting to that, which we're going to have one of these days with the roof open to see. But certainly 3 games is better than none.
Okay. Thank you, Dave. Good luck.
You got it. Thank you.
Next question is from Dave Vasse. Go ahead.
Dave, have you guys settled on a game 3 starter yet, or is that up to what happens in the first 2 games?
Yeah, I think that right now we're just going to leave it open, and each one of those guys is going to be available in 1 and 2, and we'll kind of see how it plays out, Dave. But all 3 are still built up, so, you know, I'm sure one of those guys will take down game 3.
MLB Network showed parts of your workout yesterday, and it showed Kenley throwing to live hitters. Where is he at, and do the mechanical adjustments that need to be made, is that enough time between the last time we saw in game 1 to Tuesday? Is that enough time?
I think so. I thought yesterday he threw the baseball really well. He, along with, I think, 7 or 8 other guys, threw to hitters. And I love the exercise that our coaches came up with. Kelly threw the baseball really well. So like I said the other day, he's our closer, but there's still opportunities. And I talked to Kenley yesterday just to kind of be on the same page that there's still going to be times that I might need him in a different inning, and he's on board with whatever to help us win baseball games. And it's a title, but I think that in practice, there's certain innings and certain parts of the lineup that I think he's the best option. So we'll kind of proceed that way.
So being the closer doesn't necessarily mean closing the 9th inning.
Not in every game, and it might, but I think that just kind of putting ourselves in that situation where I can't use him in a situation where I feel he's the best option isn't the best decision for the Dodgers right now.
One last question, Dave, as far as that ballpark in Arlington, I know you mentioned the roof is going to be open. How much do you anticipate that changing the way the ball flies there? Because only 66 home runs were hit there in 30 games and 99 were hit at Dodger Stadium. Yeah.
So from what I understand, it does allow for the ball to travel a little bit further. What that means, I really don't know. And it still just comes down to executing pitches and putting the barrel on the ball. So, and it's a level playing field regardless, but it'll be different in the sense that we just haven't experienced it here.
Next question is from Ken Gurnick. Go ahead.
Dave, what's the status in your mind of Max Muncy as far as being in the middle of your lineup?
He'll be in the middle of our lineup. I still think that, you know, the first game, taking a couple walks, The second game, I thought he got off some really good swings, just didn't make contact. But I still think that he's seeing the baseball considerably better, and I like him where he's at.
And that's mostly off the walks, not so much off the actual swings.
No, but no, it is. The second game, I thought he took some very good swings. I mean, I think that, yeah, he missed some pitches that they executed, but I still thought the swings were considerably better than they had been in the middle of the year.
Next question is from Jorge Castillo. Go ahead.
Dave, do you still plan to carry a third catcher?
Yeah, we're I mean, I don't know. Jorge, that's kind of one of the conversations we're going to talk about. The third catcher, Terrence Gore off the bench, things like that we still got to kind of lock down.
And what did you see from Cody in that first series?
I thought there was fight. I thought there was compete, and he spoiled some pitches. I thought he took some really good swings, and when he got down in the count, he fought. And, that's all anyone can ask.
And you guys have been there a couple of days now. What's the bubble life like in Texas?
It's great having our families here. It's different seeing the team you're opposing in this series sharing the same space. The hotel itself is fantastic. But it's a business trip, but I think the families are enjoying, being with each other. So, but it's been good.
Thank you.
Next question is from Bill Plunkett. Go ahead.
Thanks for doing this, Dave. Are there any limits with Walker Buehler? Are you going to need someone to piggyback with him again?
I think that, and we talked about this before, just having the few days leading up to this series and having a good group of guys in the pen, good options that are available and feeling good is certainly beneficial, but I just don't know until I know. So I think with Walker right now, I think his finger's in a great place, and we'll keep an eye on him each inning, and he's probably going to be upset when the time comes. But again, we're trying to win this start and then also the next series as well to have him pitch. So we've got a good group of guys behind him, but I don't know necessarily, Bill. I can't say that it's a scripted or when we're going to, deploy our guys in the pen.
And if the series does go 5 games, is he an option to pitch on 3 days rest?
I think if you ask me, we will see. If you ask him, that's a definite yes. That's one of those things I think that we just got to wait and see.
How the Padres aren't making any definitive statements about Lamet and Clevenger. How does the series change if they don't have those guys healthy?
Well, as far as roster construction, it doesn't change. Obviously, those are 2 of their better starters. And to not have them, they're going to have to make an adjustment with how they kind of put together the roster and attack us as hitters. But I think for us, we're preparing for both those guys until we don't have to.
After they beat you in San Diego, the first game of that series, later Mookie Betts referred to that as a punch in the mouth, and he thought the team responded well. Did you sense that at the time, and how have they responded?
I think our guys just responded by really playing good baseball, and we went into Petco, a team that was trying to win the division and had a chance to come out of that series with a half-game lead. And losing that first game the way we did, really had a bad inning. I think he was in that 6th or 7th inning. And for us to come back and win the series there just really was good to see from our guys. And I think if you are looking for a turning point, that was probably one of them. And we've continued to play good baseball since.
Is it a good thing to get punched in the mouth once in a while?
Well, yeah, I don't mind getting punched in the mouth. I think that I think everyone's going to get punched in the mouth at some point in time, but it's how you respond, and our guys, to no surprise, took it and responded really well.
Thanks, Dave.
You got it.
Next question is from Tim Brown. Go ahead.
Hey, Dave, how are you?
I'm doing well, Timmy.
Good. Hey, I was thinking about the fact that it's early in the postseason. You guys may have a lot of games left, and Bob Melvin is sitting in your chair in Los Angeles. And I'm curious, like, who cleaned out your office? And you are sitting in Chris Woodward's chair, who I know you know and like very much. And how odd is that?
So it is odd. I don't know who cleaned out my office. I got a text from Mark Kotze, who's our quality assurance coach, who's a good friend of mine. And I just told him, lead Bob to my wine. I've got good high-end liquors in there, some whiskeys. I've got some cigars. So what's mine is theirs.
You didn't lock it up?
I didn't lock it up. I don't know if our clubhouse staff did, but I have no idea. They can help themselves with whatever they want. And as far as in Woody's office, it's like nothing against my office at Dodger Stadium, but it's like I feel like George Jefferson. I've moved on up because this office is unbelievable. This facility is unbelievable. And Woody left me a nice note.
Did he?
Yeah.
Just wishing you luck?
Yeah, good luck. And then also some family pictures, which was amazing.
Of him, of his
of mine. So it's kind of Woody and the head clubby David here really made me feel at home.
Feels like 2020, doesn't it? All sorts
That's
of
right.
weird
That's
stuff.
right. Yeah.
All right, man. Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next question's from. Go ahead, Eric.
Dave, just wondering with the format, no off days during the series, do you like the format? Do you think it gives you a specific advantage at all?
I like the format. Just playing after getting 3 days off, playing 5 in a row. I just think the format, lends itself to your entire roster. So as a team, as an organization that believes in depth, you're going to have to use all 28 guys, in my opinion. So yeah, I don't mind it.
In the last week of the regular season, talking about Jock Peterson, when he came back, you mentioned that you weren't sure how long he might be available. Is he still available, and do you expect him to be available during the series?
We do. And fortunately, we got Jock and his family with us here to travel and be in the bubble. So I know he's really in a good place as far as that. And so we're just very fortunate that we have him going forward. Yes.
Thanks.
Next question's from Jeff Sanders. Go ahead.
Hey, Dave. You started, you were coaching in San Diego when this Dodgers run really started. I'm wondering what your view of them closing the gap has been over the last several years.
As far as the Padres closing the gap?
Yes.
Yeah. I think AJ, his staff, they've done a tremendous job as far as the scouting, the trades, ownership allowing for signings. I think Jace has done a really nice job over there. So, yeah, there was a big gap, and they did just a good job of getting better each year. So I still think that we're continuing to get better. And I love our ball club, love what our organization does, but it's good for baseball. It's good for those guys to continue to get better each year.
Next question is from Cary Osborne. Go ahead.
Hi, Dave. How much does San Diego's relentlessness on offense and their ability to kind of strike late remind you of your own offense?
A lot of similarities. Those guys play with a lot of energy, and a lot of guys in their lineup can hurt you with the long ball. It's a very momentum-driven team. They've gotten much better as far as plate discipline. And so, yeah, there's a lot of similarities on both sides.
The way that both teams were so good at driving in runs late, how important does that make the bullpen game in this series?
It's going to really, it's going to show itself, because you're going to have to rely on guys and matchups in the 7th, 8th, 9th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th. And it's going to be interesting to see who wins out, because both teams have shown the ability to win games late and play to the last out. So I know that our guys are ready. I think that we like the matchups potentially, but we still got to go out there and execute. But again, both offenses can explode on you at any point in time, and especially late.
Next question is from Jared Diamond. Go ahead.
Hey, Dave. I'm just curious whether you think the shorter regular season could benefit Kershaw at all this month, just given he's going in with so many fewer innings than he's accustomed to.
I think so. And I don't think Clayton, I think Clayton, along with all these other starters, Clayton is, I think he's 32. He's logged a lot of innings. But number one, he's healthy. So regardless if it was a regular season or this truncated season, saving bullets, being fresh, I think is certainly a benefit to him. But I also think it's a benefit to all these other guys that are going to toe the rubber.
I got time for one more. Go ahead, Ronald.
When you look at how you use someone like Morrow 3 years ago, I guess you pitched him, I think 14 of 15. Are you going to have to be cognizant you can't do that with relievers this time with the fewer off days? And how does that change how you set things up?
Yeah, you know what? Certainly. And you're talking about, I mean, I didn't know it was 14 or 15 games, but obviously there's some off days that are baked in there. But yeah, when you're talking about 5 in a row, I don't see anybody, if there is a game 5, pitching 5 games in a row. But it's more on, how guys are feeling, how effective they are as well. And Brandon was very good for us.
Thank you.
Yep.